The following program is intended for mature audiences. The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. It is a penalty-filled morning already. That's false start. False start on Tank, but glad we did because Jeremy's computer was still on. Anyhow, welcome into the program, into the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different today, another day of the top 100 in the NFL. Sportsocracy style, of course. We didn't like the way that they did their list, so we did our own. Jeremy picks them, I critique them. That's kind of the relationship that we have here. Welcome into the program. Hit us up in the comments throughout with anything that you want heard, talked about. Of course, we will talk about Cam Newton because, it finally came the day that the New England Patriots said bye-bye to Cam Newton. Yeah, he was only a year behind schedule on that one.
Are you not entertained?
But, Jeremy, give you credit. You did say, you were the one saying, if he's not going to be the starter of this team, Cam Newton will not be a member of the team.
It's a Ricky Bobby rule. If he ain't first, he's last.
That's right. And I was waiting. Ever since the news came out at, what was it, like 10:15 yesterday morning, I was waiting until Keyshawn Johnson took the air on Key J and Z on ESPN Radio because I just wanted to hear him admit that he was wrong. And guess what? I didn't get what I wanted. Why can't you admit when you're wrong? Everything this morning had to be about, it was because he was unvaccinated. Cam Newton wasn't selected for this team because it was just too much of a risk to have an unvaccinated player around. And that really was the thing. When Keyshawn Johnson was talking about how Cam Newton is not even a contest, he's the starter of this team, and it's Mac Jones. Today, it's COVID was the deciding factor.
Well, you saw that they asked Bill Belichick that this morning, right? Uh-huh. You know what he said?
Nope.
You know what it had to do with? The fact he sucks. The fact he sucks at football. We play football. That's what we do. I need quarterbacks that can play, and he can't do that. That's why Cam Newton did not make that team.
Yep. Look, Cam Newton, he had a fine offseason. He had the second playoff game where he actually started to make me believe that maybe Bill Belichick is going to start Cam Newton because he was so efficient with his 8 of 9 performance. It was a good performance. He can still play football in this league. The problem is he's in a position now where there isn't a team on the planet, I don't think, that will take him.
It's very simple to understand. And I said this yesterday on the ESPN Radio show for the hour that we were on. After yesterday with us missing the morning show and missing an hour of the ESPN Radio show, we were more wanted based on your messages and tweets and shit than the Bishop Sycamore head coach.
Yeah.
So we love you for that. And I swear to you, by the end of this week, we will be able to tell you where it is that we have been.
Right.
It's, in the words of the 45th President of the United States, huge.
Right.
Huge news, huge.
It's just unbelievable to me the excuses that people will go through to not have to admit that they're wrong. You guys watch this program all the time. I'm wrong quite a lot. And when I'm wrong, I come in, take my lumps, I admit it, I take my jabs in the comments, and I'm fine with it. Be the bigger man and roll on, Keyshawn, and admit that you are, that you were wrong. Cam Newton was not a starting quarterback in this league, and he's not anymore. If somebody gets hurt throughout the season, maybe he's got a chance to fall in somewhere. But even at that point, I don't know that it happens.
Here's the thing. I'm going to call it the Cam Newton rule. This is what I said on ESPN Radio yesterday. It's the Cam Newton rule. If you're that big of a distraction, in spite of the fact that you may have done nothing wrong, there are DFS-suffering individuals with Cam Newton. He's going to be a headache. You know why? Because at least, and it may be a small portion, might be 2% of your fan base, that if he somehow winds up on a field, he gives us the best opportunity to win, in spite of the fact he sucks.
Yep.
Because people they're not realistic with him. They're not realistic with him, Tim Tebow, Colin Kaepernick, there's Gardner Minshew, there's a list of Jalen Hurts, there's a list of these guys. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's because you watched them in college, you developed the affinity for them, you can't be realistic about what they are. And it's a small portion of the population, but that part's there. So you look at a guy like, and I keep hearing, oh, he'd be a great backup to Lamar Jackson. No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. You know why? Because there's 2% of the population that go, well, if we just play Cam, we'd be. And you hear how stupid that sounds? There are people that do that. I know that. They message me on Twitter a lot. They don't spell words well at all.
He could go back up Dak Prescott in Dallas. I mean, maybe, but why would you do that? Why would you bring him in at this point? I don't think he's going to find another landing spot unless there is a major injury to somebody, and it's got to be a perfect situation at that point. If Cam Newton were as good as you had been telling us, not just Keyshawn Johnson, it's the rest of the mainstream sports media. If Keyshawn Johnson were if Cam Newton were as good as you had been saying he was, it wouldn't have mattered whether or not he was vaccinated.
It wouldn't matter if he had COVID, herpes, cholera, polio, dysentery, chlamydia. It wouldn't have mattered what disease he had.
What is the one thing that Bill Belichick wants to do more than anything? More than anything in the world?
Cut the sleeves off his hoodies.
More than that.
Deflate footballs.
More than that.
Blow Tom Brady.
More than that.
Win.
That's right.
It is.
He wants to win, and if he thought Cam Newton was going to translate to more wins for his team, he wouldn't give a fuck about the coronavirus protocols. Do you think that he really cares? If Mac Jones was unvaccinated, do you think they would have just rolled on? Oh, we're not going to do anything with him. No. Cam Newton's not worth the hassle.
No.
Adam Black said the Jets need a quarterback. Don't you put that damn evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
And then Urban Meyer gives us another example of why he shouldn't be an NFL coach when he says, we totally took vaccination status into account when we started cutting players. And the NFLPA went, oh, did you really? Watch this. There's an NFLPA investigation now into the hiring and firing practices of Urban Meyer. This is not going to go well for him. Just another example of how he's, over his skis in the NFL. You just can't do it. Even if it were true, which, okay, for guys at the bottom of the roster, sure, that creates a little bit more of a headache. Why am I going to keep on a sixth tackle who I could possibly lose for 10 days? Maybe it did have a factor in that decision.
I never said it.
It's not something you say out loud, dumbass.
Well, and here's the thing. I never said that it didn't have something to do with bottom of the roster players. What I said, I heard, I think it was Colin Cowherd yesterday, that said the Minnesota Vikings would move on from Kirk Cousins because he's not vaccinated if they could get out from that contract.
Stop that.
No, the fuck they wouldn't. That's dumb talk. Stop doing that. You're better than that. They're not playing Kellen Mond because Kirk Cousins is not vaccinated. Shut up. It's dumb talk, and it's really annoying.
Right. And now it's, Urban Meyer's willing to say the thing that Bill Belichick won't say. Stop it with that. It doesn't matter. If the guys thought if you're good enough to be on the roster, nobody's going to care if you have extra protocols against you because you're an unvaccinated player. It's dumb.
Now, but we don't talk about politics here,
we do not.
Fuck that.
Fuck that. All right, let's get into the NFL Top 100.
Oh, hold on. We got more shit to talk about.
Oh, do we?
Oh, I mean, we've been going for 2 days.
Okay.
We have a new official betting partner of the both shows.
We do.
BetUs.com. Later today, I will have a link where you can go in there, get all kinds of free money, and bet against me. Mm-hmm. And I will be giving you fire betting picks. Start at 5-0. 5-0, baby.
Right.
5-0. Let's go.
Right. But it'll work pretty much the same way as all of our other deals. We'll give you the promo code. You sign up. You win, we win. It's a win-win situation. BetUS.com.
It's Bet Us, by the way.
I know, but
well, if you're going to spell it, then you go BETUS.com.
Yeah, we're glad to have them on board. We've got more exciting announcements coming.
We've got one
coming on the way. It's going to be a
Huge.
mind breaker.
Huge.
Yeah. We got one that's coming up at the end of the week that is going to blow your minds because it has blown ours so far.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I got an email before the show that I just went, what? That's just cool. That's awful swell.
Yeah, and it gives you that little feeling of, it's all happening, folks. It's all happening.
Yeah, you're going to be stuck with us for a long time.
Listen. You guys are a big reason why we're still here.
The reason. It's not. You're not a big reason. You're the reason. We're big reasons, literally, because we're both $3 bills. But
yeah,
it's all because of you, and we love you for it.
Right. Well, it's 98% them, 2% stubbornness
From us
on our part.
100%.
100%. Perseverance pays off, and we can't wait to share all of the big announcements with you here in the Sportsocracy. Again, don't forget to like, follow, and share on all the social medias. Subscribe as well. What?
It's in the comments. You read it.
Oh, my gosh.
I love you people so much. There's so many things that you say that I'm like, that's the kind of fucked up that I am. And I like that.
Nice. Anyhow, competition for a cause.
100%. Get in
Competition
those.
for a cause. Please get in on the best ball leagues for charity. All the proceeds going to Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project. We want to have as much money as possible to be able to hand over to them. And best ball is just a way for us to create a community of fantasy football lovers that are helping each other when we get through our boredom in the football season. And, of course, help out the local community as well, making sure the local kids here in Buncombe County have something to open on Christmas morning. $20, $50, and $100 levels for the best ball leagues. Get in today. The link to each level of the contest in the description of this here video. Competition for a cause, of course, benefiting Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project.
And it's super easy. The links are in the Starter Pro Bowl Hall of Fame, and all you got to do is click it. If you've got a credit card on your cell phone, your laptop, whatever it is, it takes 45 seconds. And I will get notifications, and if you do it during the show, I will shout you out and possibly sing a Conway Twitty song to you.
Yep. Justin Parton, before we can schedule the drafts, we have to fill the leagues. So spread the word.
And currently,
get all
we
your
need like
friends
3 people per each tier. So if you get in the $20 tier, $50 tier, $100 tier, it all helps. It's all fantastic. It all goes to a great cause. And as soon as we fill them, we'll be sprinkling ourselves in these as well. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to these. The good thing about best ball, and a lot of people have asked me this, you wait until the absolute last second to do best ball drafts. Because if you draft a guy like J.K. Dobbins in the second round, you're fucked. Mm-hmm. You should have no prayer. That's why this is so up against the season. They will actually go into the first week of the season. We'll still be doing drafts after week 1. And we will tie this into some DraftKings and FanDuel stuff where you can compete against us to win weekly prizes for your donation. And both of those services have graciously agreed to take no VIG from those, none of those things. And so all of the money will be going 100% to the St. Nicholas Project with Eblen.
Excellent. All right, now, are we ready to get into the next section of the NFL Top 100?
Yes.
You got any more housekeeping things to take care of?
Amy and I's show, the Gambling 101 show.
Okay, yeah.
That will be coming out on Saturday. It will be recorded Saturday. I couldn't tell you what time it's going to come out. This will be the first weekend we've done that. We're trying to figure out the logistics of that. So if you want to see the pretty girl on screen, you will see that over the weekend.
All right, number 21 through number 40 in the Sportsocracy NFL Top 100. At number 40, Cameron Jordan, the defensive end from the New Orleans Saints. 6-time Pro Bowler. He's an absolute beast.
There are very few defensive ends in this league that are as good both ways as Cameron Jordan. I've never understood why he doesn't get more pub. Do you feel like he's an underrated guy?
I do. There are other guys in the league that get more, they get more pop, but I think it's just because Cameron Jordan's never had that one outstanding season. Like Shaq Barrett when he had damn near 20 sacks a couple of years ago. Von Miller, leading his team to a Super Bowl run. Cam Jordan's never had that definitive moment. but he is just a steady contributor. Double-digit sacks, 4 out of the last 6 years. He's been one of the best in the league, but he's just never had that pop moment. And there's something to be said for that.
Let me ask you a question. I want to see how close you can get to this. Mm-hmm. All the pass rushers in NFL history, where does Cameron Jordan fall? This is the official leaderboard since 1982.
In total sacks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say maybe top 60.
He's 47th overall in 9 years.
Okay.
He'll be in the top 25 at the end of this year.
Yep.
9 sacks, he's in the top 25 all time. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, there's guys like Trace Armstrong that played 1 billion years that's up there, but still, that's pretty damn impressive. Mm-hmm. And he's good against the run. There's so much to like about him.
But he's, like I said, I think that's why he's underrated, is because he hasn't been that lightning rod. He may be in his own city, but he's not a guy that breaks through on a national level like a Von Miller or a J.J. Watt or T.J. Watt or even I feel like Yannick Ngakoue is more celebrated than he is.
I would agree with that, actually. I like Yannick Ngakoue. He didn't make the top 100, but
has there
he's nowhere near as good. He's nowhere near as good of a player on both sides of Cam Jordan.
Right, but I think that's, you know, it's not so much Yannick's play on the field. It was the contract negotiation. It was the wanting out of Jacksonville that we all got to see we've never had this with Cam Jordan. He's never been in a place where he's been the story. He's always just been a really solid defensive player on the New Orleans Saints. Everything comes out of New Orleans has always been about Alvin Kamara or Drew Brees or Michael Thomas. Cam Jordan just gets overshadowed on his own team.
100%.
Yannick Ngakoue was the story for a while, and so we all look and go, that's an elite pass rusher. We never had to take a deep look at his stats to see how much should he be paid. Number 39, Zach Martin. Guard from the Dallas Cowboys, one of the most solid guards in the entire NFL. You know, last year was the first time that he had missed more than 2 games in a season. He's 30 years old and has been a perennial Pro Bowler.
He, to me, other than Quentin Nelson's the best guard in the NFL.
I would agree with that.
I don't think there's another one that you could even debate with me on. He's just a tremendous player. Good in the run game, doesn't give up sacks. There's just a lot to really like about this guy. Mm-hmm. He was in one of the first classes I ever did covering the draft. And so I've always had a little bit of an affinity for him because he was a guy that I was super high on. And now he's that vaunted Cowboys line. Mm-hmm. He's one of the last ones left. Travis Frederick's gone. Lyle Collins now is just grossly overpaid.
Yeah.
Tyron Smith hurts himself using Charmin. Sad. That was a great offensive line, and it did not age well at all.
But he can still be the anchor to the next offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys. I think he's in a perfect spot to be the anchor between 2 eras on that offensive line. I've always liked him since he came out. He's proved to be nothing but one of the best guards in the entire NFL. Number 38, defensive tackle from the Philadelphia Eagles, Fletcher Cox. I feel like he's a very underrated player. You talk about the best defensive tackles in the league, obviously Aaron Donald's going to be the one that comes to mind. Fletcher Cox is not that far behind on that list.
Fletcher Cox is the most underrated interior lineman in the NFL. He might be the most underrated defensive player in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Just because you think about how limited the things around him have been, and he's still so good against the run. Still gets pressure against quarterbacks. He's had a little bit of injury issues, but other than that, good hell, he's good.
He is a refrigerator. He is one of those he's one of those guys that I feel like you could probably supplant him into 1970s NFL, and he'd be just fine. And he'd be just as dominant, and he would destroy people.
Kelvin Joyner said, I'm surprised he didn't try to force his way out of Philly. Me too. They've done him 0 favors in all the years he's been there. Mm-hmm. And yet he's still just a dominant force. That's a guy that I've always thought or when I did this list, I thought people would push back on.
Yeah.
And I'm vehement on Fletcher Cox.
And you're very wrong. I don't think there's too many people that would fight about you or fight with you.
Well, wait till we put this list out.
Really?
Oh, yeah, just wait. That'll be one of the ones that I'm telling you.
Fletcher
People
Cox
say,
being at 38.
Yep. He's too high.
All right. I will agree to disagree on
The people that
one.
watch our morning show, they're smart people, and they know. So there's that.
Yep.
But then, the people that just see things we put out on social media go, what, Fletcher Cox? Blah.
I guess this is the time in the list where we need to get all cagey like the NFL Network did. At number 37, quarterback of the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson. Great player with an undecided future. Did you see it?
I did.
Oh, it was horrid. It was horrid for a minute and a half. They just did that, Hard Knocks, really serious. They didn't even really throw out any stats about him and like they did with all the other players. It was just showing highlight film. And then they say, we don't know what can become of Deshaun Watson. To me, Deshaun Watson is the top 5 quarterback. All the legal things aside, he is going to come back and play in this league, and he is going to be damn good for a long, long time. I'm glad that his off the field stuff has not swayed you by any stretch on your NFL top 100 list.
This is just, it's just talent. As I've always said, I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. Neither were you. So, it is what it is.
Yep.
That's where he belongs on this list.
Over 4,800 yards passing last year. He led the NFL in passing yards on one of the worst teams in the league. They won 4 games last year, and people want to throw that up as, see, if Deshaun Watson were so good, his team wouldn't have won just 4 games last year. Yeah, tell me who else was on that team. He had some pretty good wide receivers. Will Fuller finally had a full year of staying on the field. Well, he didn't even do that because he got suspended at one point. But Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, and Deshaun Watson was the number 1 passer in the entire league. He's been sacked 174 times in his career and still holds up to the pressure and still produces on the football field. I feel like he needs some kind of credit for that alone, that he has been running for his life for 5 years behind the offensive line of the Houston Texans, and it has not mattered. He gives you output every year. And oh, by the way, he did all of that last year, getting sacked 49 times, but also he did it without DeAndre Hopkins, which you no longer have the argument of, well, it's just because he's got great receivers around him. No. Deshaun Watson, to me, showed you last year who he is. And he's no doubt one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Agreed. And somebody's going to get him for the low, low price of not 3 1s and 2 2s. But he made the initial roster, so we've gotten further than I thought we would. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold
okay.
on. I got to do something. Today is a great day for Deshaun Watson to be a Philadelphia Eagle. I hadn't done that in a minute, and I needed to.
Good. At number 36, an absolute beast, transforming the tight end position in the NFL, Darren Waller. Las Vegas Raiders, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He had 9 touchdowns last year. Obviously, we all know the story. I think we can all celebrate the story of a guy who struggled with addiction early in his career, was able to get himself right, go to rehab, overcome it, and then become one of the elites at his position in the NFL. It's a story that sells itself. And
there will be a Disney movie.
Exactly.
There will be a Disney movie about Darren Waller.
Right.
I just hope I can play John Gruden. I'll even cut off my beard to do it.
Wait.
You just would have to show me from the waist up.
I was going to say, they're going to have to do the reverse thing that they do with Tom Cruise and make you look really small.
Yeah. Hey, a little feller. He ain't near as big as I am.
John Gruden. You playing John Gruden makes as much sense as Kevin James playing Sean Payton.
Or as much sense as you playing something athletic in a Disney movie. I beat you to it.
Bingo.
My joke, my bell.
Yeah. Darren Waller, what do you think? How high do you think the ceiling is on him right now? I mean, granted, he is 30 years old already.
He ain't that old.
He's 28, 29.
Ain't that old.
Ain't he in the? I thought he was.
Let's see. He's been in the league. Darren Waller is 28 years old.
28.
He'll be 29 in 2 weeks.
There you go.
Happy early birthday, Darren Waller.
There you go. So 29 years old, obviously there's going to be a limited number of years because of the long journey that it's been. But how high do you think the ceiling can go for him?
I'm going to be honest with you. First of all, two things. First of all, Adam Black, welcome to Competition for a Cause. +5 for you.
Yes, sir.
I did just get the receipt on you. Sometimes they take a minute. So if anybody else does that during the show, just know it's going to take just a second. Emails are fun. And PayPal agreed to waive their fees, so that's why we're using them. That's really the only reason. We were going to use Cash App and Venmo, but nobody responds to a damn email. The fuck was I talking about?
Darren Waller.
Oh, yeah. He's good at football. Oh, I know what
Ceiling.
I know what I was going to say.
Okay, all right.
I'm getting to a point
Yeah.
where I'm not sure that I don't want Darren Waller instead of Travis Kelce.
In a dynasty league, I'm there.
No, I'm talking about for this year.
For this year.
I'm not sure that I don't prefer Darren Waller at the end of the second, beginning of the third, to Travis Kelce in the first. And now maybe that's because I've said Travis Kelce no matter what so many fucking times that I keep getting sniped for Travis Kelce. Do you realize how hard it is to draft fantasy football leagues when you tell people everything you think about fantasy football on a weekly basis?
I was in a draft last night where he went third. Travis Kelce went third overall, which I was completely happy at that point because I could take Alvin Kamara at 4 and feel like I'm doing pretty damn swift.
Oh, God, I got to go back and score the comments because when I said I would play John Gruden, there are a lot of funny comments there. Jason Trump said, if Jeremy cuts the beard, does he lose his powers of telling the future? Actually, surprisingly enough, no. Because I didn't always have when we first started doing this, I didn't have the beard. That's a new thing.
No, you did.
Not like this.
No, not like that,
No.
but it was there.
Yeah, because, and like Stephen Tao said, beardless Jeremy probably looks like a hairless cat.
It's
good.
bad.
It
it's
ain't
bad.
good.
I've seen those pictures from years ago where you didn't have a beard, and I went, I don't know who the fuck that is.
No.
Whew. That dude looks like an overgrown frat boy ready to make some sexual assault claims.
I don't like where that went. Zach Hurst said Halloween. Bingo. My wife said no beard is no good.
Yeah. Not going there.
There's a picture of me and Zach Hurst dressed up like Mario and Luigi that's I really wish they would make the legs longer in those costumes. Look like I was smuggling a squirrel in the crotchal region of that costume.
It's the pleats. You should take them back to the pants store.
100%. You know where you don't have that problem?
Where's that?
Halloween Express here in the Asheville
That's
area.
right.
The Big Orange Tent at the Asheville Mall. And official sponsor of the Sports Take with Jeremy Greene and the Sportsocracy.
Open September 10th.
Open September 10th.
Lamar Jackson's at number 35. Though
I never thought I would say that.
on the NFL Top 100 list, I believe he was number 1 2 years ago. Or it might have been
he
just
ain't on
last
mine.
year.
He's not on mine because he's still not a good thrower of the football. But they've built this offense for him. He's a dynamic weapon. He's where he belongs. Mm-hmm. Some people say he should be higher. I disagree with you vehemently. But
Yeah, I would say he's a little low on your list. A quarterback who's had back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons. And, he did throw 36 touchdown passes in a season. So it's not like he can't throw the football. And he's scored on the ground 7 times in the last 2 years each. Lamar Jackson is one of the most electric players in the NFL. I would probably find a way to put him in a top 25 if I'm doing the list, but it wasn't my list to do. And, 35, at least he's not Baker Mayfield. At least your hatred for Baker Mayfield that kept him out of the top 100 is not transposed onto Lamar Jackson.
yeah, if you're waiting for Baker Mayfield to show up, don't hold your breath because you will die.
Lamar Jackson, former MVP. He's got to start winning in the playoffs, though. Start winning in the playoffs, and then more people are going to come over to your side. I was one of the ones at the start of his career that I didn't know if he could make it in the NFL. However, he has done nothing but prove me wrong since he got into the league. Him and Patrick Mahomes. We'll get to him tomorrow. Darius Leonard comes in at number 34. The latest guy to get a damn near $100 million contract in the NFL. Colts just re-signing him to a contract extension for $99.56 million or something like that. It's been in the league 3 years. 2 All-Pros in that time. He can get you 130 tackles, and he can create turnovers. Jeremy had a problem with the Indianapolis Colts paying that much money to an inside linebacker. To me,
off-ball linebacker,
excuse me. To me, you do it. When you got a guy on your team like this, you cannot let him go to somebody else.
He's a very impactful player. Mm-hmm. It's just that contract's going to age. It's hard to put a team around guys like that when you start paying less than premier positions, premier money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they shouldn't have signed him. You're stuck. He's one of the best off-ball linebackers in the league.
Yep.
So I'm not saying let him walk out the door. I'm just saying, just understand that it's going to make it harder to build a roster.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing that in Indianapolis right now. Name me the number 3 receiver for the Indianapolis Colts. That's what I thought.
Who is it?
Zach Pascal.
Oh, that's right. Zach Pascal.
Behind Paris Campbell. Now, the question is, who will it be after Paris Campbell breaks in week 2 like he always does?
Yeah, because T.Y. Hilton's already broken. So he's out. Yeah. I understand what you're saying, but when you got a guy like this on your team, you just can't let him walk away. And I say this because, we've had this guy, in my opinion. To me, him and Levante David are very similar. And I will pay whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to keep that guy on my team. Because Darius Leonard is a glue guy on that defense.
Very much so. And he's a very impactful player. I'm not saying he doesn't have a huge impact on games.
Right.
What I'm saying, it's hard to build a roster that way.
It is hard to build a roster when you're paying that much money to a non-premium position. Number 33, David Bachtiari, Green Bay Packers left tackle. Now a guy who was
Hold on. Patrick Holt, welcome to the league. In the big boy tier.
Nice.
That deserves a true shout. I love Patrick Holt. I swear to you, the ratio of I talk to you to I've never met you, never been one higher in my life than Patrick Holt. I talk to Patrick Holt more than every person on planet Earth, not him or my spouse. My mother called me yesterday. I've literally talked to Patrick Holt 60 times since the last time I talked to her.
Yep.
I talk to her pretty damn often, too. Love that guy. Love all you people. God, I love you people.
Patrick Holt, thank you for signing up for the competition for a cause. Best ball leagues for charity. Benefits going to Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project to help the kids here in Buncombe County have a good Christmas. We thank you for your donation, and the Best Ball League is they're all going to be fun. $20, $50, and $100 are the buy-ins. Links are in the description to this video.
And we're going to throw out some free DraftKings contests for we have, and I know this question is going to get asked to me at some point. So the person that owns Halloween Express does our merch. We're just sending off the things to them for some new stuff, and we'll be sending out all kinds of stuff with contests and all of that good shit.
One thing we learned this year about the number 33 guy on the list, he can pound beers like nobody else. David Bachtiari of the Green Bay Packers. Unfortunately, he's going to be hurt to start this season, but he has been a steady member of that offensive line in front of Aaron Rodgers for several years. He is, in my opinion, he is on his way to being on the list of the all-time left tackles in this league.
Bakhtiari? The bad thing is he's going to miss the first 6 weeks of the season. Guess who's replacing him?
Your boyfriend who was on this list earlier, Elgton Jenkins.
Elgton Jenkins is probably too low on this list. I probably should have had him higher. If you can play every position on the offensive line, you're a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
Yep.
I'm just talking about Elton Jenkins.
Bachtiari's been an All-Pro 2 of the last 3 years, and he's one of the guys that always gets the shout-out from Aaron Rodgers of one of the reasons that he has stayed around Green Bay.
Hold on. We got another one. Michael Whiteside, welcome to the league.
We salute
in the
you.
big boy tier also. This is going to be the most profitable for charity show we've ever done.
And I'm all here for it. Exactly. Be sure to share it with your friends. Get them involved in the best ball leagues as well.
We have Facebook ads going out today. You're going to see these faces a lot of times.
Anything else on David Bachtiari?
He can crush beers like nobody's business. I will say this. There is somewhere a joke of the offensive line for Jeremy being David Bachtiari, Dan Feeney. There are a couple others that just love to crush beers on Twitter. And I'm all fucking here for it. I want to do something with that. I just haven't figured out what it is yet. Mullets and beers and yeah.
I think we should time them. You figure out how to do that split screen thing on TikTok. We'll see if you can beat Bachtiari.
I don't do. My wife and Tommy Bradley do our TikTok. I don't even know how to get into it.
I don't either.
I'm like a little kid with the cupboard where you keep all the drain cleaners and shit. I don't even know how to get in there. Like, I know there's bad shit in there. I just don't know what it is, and I don't know how to get to it.
Right. At number 32 on the Sportsocracy NFL Top 100 list, Devon White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the reigning and defending undisputed champions. 140 tackles last year. That's right. When he is on the field, the game is going to be changed. He is a ball hawk. He is at the perfect spot every chance he gets. I love this kid so much, and I was down on the pick on draft night. I thought we should have gone.
I said you were fucking hammered.
I thought I was a big Bush fan.
That's the first draft we ever did together, and I told you were out of your gourd.
Devin Bush, he was the guy that I wanted. I am so glad we went with Devin White. Not saying anything against Devin Bush, but Devin White has become one of my favorite all-time Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the fact that he loves his horses so much, he's a good guy. He likes animals and cares for his horses better than most people care for their dogs.
Hey, dog, you're a dog. Say your mother. Say hi to your mother for me. By the way, the big Bush fan was not lost on me.
Oh, I said it for a reason.
I'll 100% isolate that.
Yeah.
I'll use that for something very nefarious. Speaking of which, wait till you see. I told Tank the concept of this right before we went on air. Wait till you see my pick segment this week.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. He's very good.
Devin White's going to be one of those guys that in a couple of years we're going to be talking about just how much money he's going to get
$1 billion
from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are going to spend every single dollar that they have to keep Devin White around.
$100 bajillion.
Mm-hmm. He will break all the records.
And he's worth
of linebacker
every
contracts.
penny. Mm-hmm. Any guy that's that fast that can cover, I mean, hell, he can cover slot receivers.
Yep.
Like, there's just not many linebackers in the NFL like that.
Yep.
To me, Devin White is that hybrid linebacker that you see. So many of these teams going safeties playing linebacker. He's why? Because he's a otherworld athlete that came into the league as a linebacker.
There are few guys that have that kind of lateral speed on a football field. I think Devin White, if you clocked it, if there was a metric, he probably covers from the far hash to the near sideline quicker than anybody else in the entire NFL. I love Devin White so much, and he would definitely be higher on my list. But 32 is fine.
Stephen Town, Michael Whiteside just turned the first ever Sportsocracy double play on you.
What was that?
Stephen Town said, any big Cox fans in the chat? And Michael Whiteside said, only Tank. We're 12. Plus 3 for both of you.
It isn't as fun when they're small and flaccid.
Plus 3 for both of you. All right, Joe Exotic, tell me shit. You watch porn? Ain't that straight?
Anyhow.
I love how I did this list, and I think I've given like 47 seconds of analysis on every player combined.
Right. Yeah. You ready to move on to the next?
It's fine. I love shows like this. We're doing good things for charity and making fun of Tank. That's a double winner for me.
That's right.
After not having a show yesterday, I don't know that I've ever had that much information thrown at me in a 2-hour period. I had to go home and get drunk. Like, that was the only solution.
Who's shocked? Number 31 in the Sportsocracy NFL Top 100, A.J. Brown, wide receiver from the Tennessee Titans. I think after 2 years in the league, we've come to the realization that this guy is a game changer. Over 1,000 yards receiving each and every year he's been in the league. Had 11 touchdowns last year, and he still missed 2 games. The sky's the limit for A.J. Brown. It's all going to depend on his quarterback, how much longer can Ryan Tannehill be the, one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL. He's still got some years left.
We all know that A.J. Brown's my little boyfriend, and I love him. I've loved him since he came out in the draft. I was dumbfounded when people were comparing Dk Metcalf to him. I'm going to level. I'm still slightly dumbfounded that people compare Dk Metcalf to him.
Come on.
A.J. Brown's 3 inches shorter and not as fast, and he's every bit as productive. That means something. DK Metcalf's just a physical freak. He's also not a good route runner. He's hey, look, I get ball, I run your little tiny ass over because safeties can't hang with him, all that shit. A.J. Brown doesn't have that. He's just a tactician running routes. He's the best route runner in the NFL. It's him and Jerry Jeudy, they're 1-2.
Okay.
And Jerry Jeudy don't have these things. Not fingers, hands. He has fingers, they just don't work.
Aw, poor guy. A.J. Brown, to me, with Julio Jones, people have been talking about it's going to hurt his output. I really don't think so. I think it's only going to make him better. I think it's only going to free up more opportunities for him because now, and I get Corey Davis was a threat on the other side of him last year, but I think a lot of that was because so much focus was put on A.J. Brown. And now he's got a legitimate number 2, no doubter. I mean, a guy who's going to make the Hall of Fame. I get he's 32 years old, but I don't care. You're still going to have to account for him, and I think there's going to be plenty of space for A.J. Brown to improve on this list going into next year.
Yeah, I would agree. If there's one guy that I can see breaking the top 15 next year, it's A.J. Brown. I can see, Devon White. There's a couple of those guys.
Yep. Number 30, Dk Metcalf. You and we're going to have words because you have Dk Metcalf at 30, but Budda Baker at 29. I believe this was settled on the field last year, and Dk Metcalf won that battle. He should be 29.
Okay. Let me tell you why. Because I looked at that as well. I have Dk Metcalf one spot ahead of A.J. Brown because of what I said about the physical advantages.
Yes.
I have Budda Baker. How many receivers have you seen in my top 100? It's a lot. How many safeties you seen in my top 100?
Not
it's
a bit.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Budda Baker is one of the most underrated players in the NFL. I absolutely love Budda Baker. And hell, we'll do them both together.
Yeah.
So you're telling me one player is better than the other because of one play?
I'm just saying, in the way that play went down. DK Metcalf on the interception in the Seahawks-Cardinals game last year. Budda Baker catches it, and he's gone. And then all of a sudden, here comes DK Metcalf out of nowhere. Dude hit a top speed of 22.64 miles per hour to chase him down. It was the highlight of the week. We talked more about that single play than we did about any single game that week in the NFL. I get they're close. Just saying. I think DK won that one. He covered 108 yards to track down one of the fastest safeties in the league. To me, that warrants him being just a smidge above Budda Baker, not the other way around. I love Budda Baker as well. The guy is, he is a hard hitter. He has his head on a swivel. He picks up tackles like nobody's business. But I still look at the stat line from last year. He had his first 2 interceptions of his career. He took them back for 90 yards and 0 touchdowns, all because of DK Metcalf.
I don't disagree.
Okay.
There's no disagreement there.
DK Metcalf, he is the new favorite little toy of Russell Wilson. 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns, and again, that top speed that can't be matched by anybody. And then you put that with the fact that he is just the most athletic freak in the NFL. To me, he is well on his way to becoming one of the best wide receivers in this league.
Agreed.
I wish
you could run a fucking route, but when you're that big and that physically imposing, I guess you don't really have to.
You don't really have to.
Let's be really honest. Here's an unpopular opinion that's going to get somebody to tell me to go fuck myself. Randy Moss wasn't a great route runner either. Just throwing that out there. One of the 3 greatest wide receivers that ever lived. Wasn't a great route runner. You know what he was? Huge and fast, and had about a 45-inch vert.
Yep.
So, before anybody goes, "Oh, you're shitting on DK Metcalf," no, I said the exact same thing about him that I said about Randy Moss.
Right.
So there's that.
All of those other things are just so otherworldly that the fact that he's not the greatest technician at running routes, it doesn't matter. He's going to be one of the best wide receivers in this league for a long, long time. Budda Baker with the Arizona Cardinals. He's younger than I thought he was.
Budda?
Yeah.
He is.
I didn't realize he had only been in the league for 4 years. Because it seems like we've been talking about, and we have been talking about him since he came into the league.
He's another one that I might give a little boost to because I loved him going into the draft. Mm-hmm. I watched him at Washington and just went, good Lord, that kid can do fucking everything.
Right.
And he's about that tall.
Thank you for putting them together on this list, though, at 29 and 30. 28, Joey Bosa, defensive end from the Los Angeles Chargers. In his short period in the league, he's already racked up 47.5 sacks. I think to some people, that's a little bit of a disappointment, but I think it's mostly due to the fact that has he played a full season yet?
Joey Bosa?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Because I think
he played 1.
He's
played 63 games in his career. He's had 2. He's actually had 2 full seasons.
Has he really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He has. He has had 2 full seasons. However, there has been, 4 games his rookie year. He only played 7 games in his 3rd year, and then last year only played 12 games. He missed back-to-back weeks twice last year. I think the injury issues are something to look at, but there's no denying the talent. I mean, we knew when he was at Ohio State that he was going to come into the league and be an immediate impact, just like his brother, just like Chase Young. There's some dudes that are just head and shoulders above everybody else, and even though they're the same age or even younger than most of the guys in college football, they're just otherworldly. Mm-hmm. They're like men playing with boys, and then they come up to the...
Men should never play with boys.
No, never. It's actually against the law.
Don't do crimes.
Joey Bosa, there's no doubt in the talent, and he comes in at number 28 on this list. Number 27, Deforest Buttner.
This is another one of those guys that is so fucking underrated.
Second best pass rushing defensive tackle in the NFL.
To Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's second best defensive tackle in the NFL to Aaron Donald.
I think it's him, Deforest Buttner, and then Chris Jones. I think those are my top 3 pass rushing defensive tackles.
Chris Jones against the DN, though.
Yeah, he's a hybrid.
Mm-hmm. I only know that because I had to look on the... Yeah, that's what he's listed at, so that's what I listed.
Yeah, they're listing him at that now because they can move him out there now. But Deforest Buttner, double-digit sack guy, or at least, I think he's hit double-digit sacks only once in his career. But, I think he had 9.5 last year. He's been at 7.5 in a couple of years before that. To me, he's very underrated. Do you know how many times he hit the quarterback last year?
A shitload?
It was 26.
That's a shitload for a
26 times he had a quarterback hit for the Indianapolis Colts last year. Deforest Buttner was a great pickup for the Indianapolis Colts when they got him from San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Helps transform that defense, or fortify that defense, I guess I should say. Well deserving to be at number 27. Number 26, Xavien Howard.
He's an elite corner. I'll be honest with you. Very rarely do I look at a guy that's trying to get a new deal not long after signing his old deal and go, yeah, he deserves that. But when you made Byron Jones higher paid than him, yeah, you fucked that up. You ought not done that, because he's not better than Xavien Howard.
Yeah.
He's more athletic. Byron Jones is one of the most physical freaks in the NFL. He ain't better than Xavien Howard.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't even make this list, if that tells you anything. He was in the honorable mention, but he didn't make this list.
10 interceptions last year for the Miami Dolphins, and it's not just that he had that one big year. 2 years ago, he had 7 interceptions in the season. He can get after the ball. I think he's worth every penny. And I don't blame him for wanting a contract to be one of the highest paid one of the highest paid corners in the league. To me, he's absolutely deserving. Dalvin Cook at number 25. Seems like it's a little low. Fantasy players look at this and go, well, he's your number 1 pick. Is he not the best in the league? No, he's not the best player in the league, but damn it, he is close. He's one of the best running backs in the league.
He's the second highest rated running back on this list. So,
right.
Running back, first of all, running back, not the most valuable position. Running backs literally can be found in the 5th, 6th round of NFL drafts.
Yep.
So you do get devalued for the position. Jonathan Welch asked me, how's he below George Kittle? Because George Kittle is no doubt the second best player in the league at his position. I think Dalvin Cook is, but it's a less valuable position.
Yeah.
I had a hiccup that was just trying its damnedest to
Last year, Dalvin Cook averaged 111 yards per game. This is why people ask me do you think that the Minnesota Vikings can have an offense that's that good again and can serve Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook? Yes, because they did it last year.
And now Chris Herndon.
And now, stop it.
Thank you for giving us the 4th round pick for him.
The Chris Herndon thing's not real.
Hey.
There are.
Hold on. I got to say something about.
Okay.
Every day is a good day for Chris Herndon to be a tight end 1 in fantasy football.
Dalvin Cook, the one thing that always comes up in the discussions about him is fragility. He goes through, he's on injury reports all the time. Of course, he had the devastating injury his first year in the league. Only got to play 4 games that year, and he's missed games every year. He's going to. A guy that's used this much is, yes, I get it. To me, I don't try to forecast injuries. I just look at a guy for what he is. And it's when he's on the field, he's going to give you 100 yards in a game. Plain and simple.
He's a fantastic player. He's one of my favorite Florida State players of all time.
Yep.
But, the injury history, you do have to talk about that. He's been dinged up in really crucial spots, too.
Mm-hmm.
But when he is healthy, to me, he is the second best running back in the league. We got about, 8-10 minutes left here.
Yep.
Let's get 3 more competition for a causes before we get out of here.
All right.
We've already done a tremendous amount for charity today, which makes us both feel warm and fuzzy and makes me feel better about the things we have to do after the show because they're very tedious. But
competition for a cause, proceeds of the best ball leagues going to Eblin Charities St. Nicholas Project. Links are in the description of this video. $20, $50, and $100 levels. I always tell people this, when it comes to charity, it doesn't matter what you can give, it matters that you give. If you can only afford the $20, we're not going to say anything about it. If you could do the $100, fine. If you could do all 3 of them, fantastic. But we just want you to be involved in this because we believe so much in the charity itself, and we also like to have fun. Everybody likes to have fun. Mm-hmm. And everybody likes prizes, and there will be prizes at the end of the season for the winners of all the best ball leagues.
And if you can't afford to do any of them, don't feel bad. There will be DraftKings leagues over the course of the year that you'll be able to get in for a smaller investment. Here's the thing: right. PayPal has, there's fees and things like that, so they asked that we keep it above $20 since they waived the fees for us.
Yes. So links to the competition for a cause leagues are in the description of this and each of our videos that we've done over the last few weeks. At number 24, George Kittle, tight end for the San Francisco 49ers. Missed 8 games last year, but he's been a guy that since he's been in the league, and I felt like he's a guy that if you're not targeting him 8 to 10 times a game, you're doing it wrong. Last year, he had a week where he went 183 yards and caught 15 of 15 targets. Mm-hmm. He can do that routinely. And I think that's something that is going to be leaned on very much by Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance, whoever that quarterback ends up being for the long haul of the season. I'm not concerned about injuries with this guy. He's tough as hell. He is tough as nails. And he can do all of the things at the tight end position that you need him to do. He can block, he can catch, he can beat linebackers down the field. He's the total package. He is Lex Luger.
Oh, God.
I was just wondering if the wrestling reference would get your attention.
Sorry, got 47 different things.
Oh, that's good.
Got great comments that I'm having to score. People keep sending in things that I'm trying to make sure that anybody that gets into the competition is not left out during the show of their shout out for getting into the competition. George Kittle's a bad motherfucker, and I'm the tight end whisperer. Mm-hmm. Are you shocked he's in the top 25? Because you shouldn't be.
Because you shouldn't be. At number 23, Trent Williams, another San Francisco 49er, offensive tackle. He's, to me, well worth the money that they spent on him. And the fact that they even got him is still just baffling to me. The way that all went down with the Washington football team and, him giving up and then, oh, guess what? The day that, who was it that retired? His name just went out of my head for the 49ers. The guy retired, and then 3 hours later, they announced we had gotten Trent Williams from the San Francisco 49ers. It's eating me alive.
It'll come to me.
And he was a great one. And I don't know why.
Joe Staley.
Joe Staley, thank you. Can't remember why I can't think of his name. Anyhow, yeah, Joe Staley decided, it's time to hang it up. And then, Trent Williams just fell in our laps. Another John Lynch special for the San Francisco 49ers. What is it that he does so well that makes him the best tackle in the league?
I'll be honest with you, if he was a little bit younger, he would have been even higher. The fact that he's, 35, 34?
34, I believe.
Pushed him down a little bit because there have been some injury concerns. The thing about him is he's every bit as good a run blocker as he is pass blocker. And that's very rare for tackles on the outside. Mm-hmm. He's, to me, the best tackle in the NFL.
He's 33.
Is he 33?
He just turned 33
he's
about a month and a half ago.
He's an old 33. He's a Jeremy 33.
Looks a little road hard, put up with.
Rode hard and left for dead.
Wouldn't leave him alone with your daughter. Yeah, that's Trent Williams. Just slaying them left and right.
Rode hard and hung to dry.
I hear he's all about the bush, too.
I'm all about the bush.
At number 22, Jair Alexander, Green Bay Packers. Now, this is I felt like he was an underrated guy up until last year. And then last year, he started to come around. People started to realize that he is a number one, no doubt, shutdown corner in this league.
Oh, Jair Alexander, a lot of people freaked out because I think he was the number 2 rated corner on Madden. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people freaked out about that, and I went, there's nothing to freak out about there. That's where he belongs. Mm-hmm. He's that good. I want you to think about how bad this defense is and understand that nobody ever throws at him. Ever. They never throw at him. I think he was if I remember correctly, among corners last year, he saw the second fewest targets of any corner in the NFL. Mm-hmm. which is just dumbfounding, considering how often teams have to throw to keep up with Green Bay.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you're running like New England and you run the ball 9,000 times a game. It's another when you got brother Aaron back here throwing 45 times a game. Jair Alexander's a bad dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's a guy I missed when he came out in the draft.
He's also.
I liked him. I didn't like him this much.
I didn't. Because he went to Louisville, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember watching him at Louisville and going, that dude, that's a special dude right there.
And when I say I missed him, I had him in the second round. But
sure.
I just didn't think he would be this.
Right.
And he's been tremendous.
Yeah, I don't know that even I thought that he was going to be this good in the NFL, but I had a feeling he was going to be a very special player just because he's a corner that is, he's fast, he's got a good eye for the ball, but man, he can lay the hammer too. And I think that's one of the things that I like most about him.
Oh, shit.
What?
Michael Whiteside just got in again.
Yes! That's what we like to see. All for the
Love
children's competition for a cause. Links in the description to the video. Proceeds go to Eblin Charities St. Nicholas Project.
You know what? I just had an idea.
Yeah.
And I'm spitballing this. It's a combination of. We're going to have I'm sure we've said this on the show. We're getting ready to move the studio. Mm-hmm. So this is going to look different. I want to do a plaque with all the people that are in this.
Okay.
Yeah, it is decided. We have something.
We know a trophy guy.
We do. The best one. Showtime Sports.
That's right.
Charlotte Highway. Right here in Nashville. Yeah, I want to do that.
Okay.
I think we can take some of our own doubloons to do that. Mm-hmm. That's a good idea. That's something I want in the studio forever. I want it to live forever.
And we'll add to it every year.
By the way, we're good with all the things that we're adding. What made me think of that is that there's something that's going into the new studio with what we're being so coy about because we're not allowed to tell you yet. And that's what got me thinking is, well, that'd be a cool little thing to have.
It would be.
Because you'll be able to see all the things.
Last one on the list for the day, number 21, it's Stefan Diggs, wide receiver from the Buffalo Bills. I loved him when he was with the Minnesota Vikings. Of course, who can forget the Minnesota Miracle? And he went to Buffalo, and he was a big reason why everybody flipped on Josh Allen. If you were off of Josh Allen last year, they ain't none of you left. I haven't heard one person say a bad thing about Josh Allen since Stefan Diggs got to town. I'm not saying it's all on Stefan. What I am saying is he's a big reason why Josh Allen was able to take that third-year leap, and a big reason why we haven't said his name yet in the NFL Top 100 list.
Michael Whiteside again. He's now in all three tiers.
Son of a gun. Love it.
All right, officially we have to. All right, now there has to be a prize for Michael Whiteside because he's the first one in all three tiers. I'm going to come up with something there.
Yeah.
Now that we have,
he's a gold member.
We have two merch people now. That's a thing that we didn't know until yesterday. So there's something there. I got to give me a couple days.
Yep.
I'm going to come up with something for that.
That's the old golden sombrero. It is the hat trick.
That's
the hat trick. That's the hat trick.
There's something there. I'm going to come up with something. Damn
a gold hat. With the Sportsocracy logo.
No, we learned our lesson on hats.
Oh, yeah.
We went through 2 vendors and almost a lawsuit, so I don't.
That is true.
Yeah. Those are in production, though, by the way. I said that in the comments earlier, but I'll say that loud. Almost had to sue. Came that close.
Litigation's not fun.
No. Because, as previously said, not a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. So, Stefan Diggs.
He good at football.
Dynamite drop in, Marty.
Stefan Diggs is probably the most right I've ever been on a player in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
When he was at Maryland, I watched him torture Florida State. And that's back in the real good Florida State days. Mm-hmm. So I knew coming out. When he fell to the 5th round, I went, that's wrong. You didn't do that right. And I was right. Mm-hmm. I'm convinced I could be a scout in the NFL.
And no, Alexander, that's not what I was saying. If it came across that way of me saying that Josh Allen would have done this without Stefan Diggs, I was trying to say the exact opposite of that. All I'm saying is it wasn't all on Stefan Diggs as to why Josh Allen made the leap. It made it a lot easier, though. That's all I was trying to say, just to clarify. So Stefan Diggs comes in at number 21. That leads us down to the last section of the Sportsocracy NFL Top 100. 1 through 20 will be coming up on our next episode.
Yep, that'll be tomorrow. We will not be here live tomorrow. We have a thing. We have a thing that's right at 10 o'clock. So we're going to record that one. We're either going to do it today or in the morning. We haven't figured out which one yet. But it will be live to you. It just won't be live in that we can interact with you. I will go back and score it. So keep firing comments. I'll go back and score it. That's one of those, hey, Amy fell asleep at 11:30. I'm still awake at 2 in the morning kind of things.
Right.
So it might take a day. But, yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out. Stephen Tao said go live at 9. We would. The latest we could go live probably 7:30. So that takes out like half the audience.
Right.
For what we have to do. And you're going to find out what that is in very short order.
That's right.
Because that's already been scheduled, which means we're almost to the being able to tell you point.
That's right. Big things to doing, and again, we could not do it without y'all.
100%.
There is no doubt we could not drag our asses out of bed every morning, come into this studio if we weren't here to enjoy the time with you and talk sports and cut up and take your abuse, on my part anyway. I love each and every one of you, and our gratitude can't be expressed enough in words. We launched this little thing with a dream, and it looks like the dream is
working,
just catching steam.
It's fucking working.
Yeah,
we don't really 100% understand why, other than the wonderful people that support us.
Exactly.
We cannot say thank you enough.
Right.
By the way, we raised over $300 for charity today.
Thank you.
And another special shout out to Patrick Holt, Adam Black, and Michael Whiteside. Michael Whiteside hitting the gold sombrero. All 3 tiers. Just unfucking believable. That's, it's just one of those days where you're like, this is what we do for a living.
This is what we do. And we're glad you're along on the ride with us and joining us as always in the Wicked Weed studio. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different. We'll be with you on the radio side this afternoon, of course, as always, from the Ingalls studio over at iHeart Asheville, ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene, heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. We'll have all the news from the NFL and around the sports world today, as well as we will continue with our college conference breakdowns as we get up to week 1 of the college football season. We have a game tonight. Jeremy will give you his pick on the big showdown tonight in college football. Season 5-0, so tune in for your best bet of the night tonight with the Green on Green, and as well as our breakdown of the Big 12. Big 12 football.
It's the Big 12! This ain't intramurals!
Anyhow, we will see you this afternoon on the radio side, and back here tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, we will have the final of the Sportsocracy NFL Top 100. Have a great afternoon.